These 10 fragrances here are guaranteed to have 12 plus hours longevity. So if you are after performance, first and foremost, that is your main concern and your main goal, which you're really looking for, these 10 are going to be perfect for you. Now, a lot of these are going to be trending towards the cooler season, the cooler time of the year, but you can get creative and wear these in some summer evenings, climate-controlled environment, no problems there. Be great for date nights and dinners out and things like that. There are also a couple fresh ones in here, though, that we'll cover as well. And I'll also drop some links down below to discounters. If you want to pick some of these up at prices below retail, that's going to be the way to go. Let's go ahead and get it kicked off with Armani Code Parfum. Easiest way to describe this one is it introduces iris into the code DNA and gives it a nice modern refresh. So it does tie back to the original Armani Code EDT, but again, it just brings it back to life. If you have been wearing the original for years and maybe at this point you're tired of it, it's been a signature scent of yours and you want to change it up without going too different, this would be a great option for you. There's also Armani Code Eau de Parfum, which is another one that would provide that kind of solution for you. But between the two, I would take the Parfum. I like the iris, and personally, I get better performance out of this one. It's a true Parfum concentration. It performs in that type of way. Lower projection, but great scent trail and great longevity. Next up, we have AZZARO Wanted by Night. Now, this one has cinnamon. It's got some fruity notes, some tobacco in here. Sweet, warm, spicy, and I mean, the name could not be more fitting. It really is a nice, sexy evening out, dinner, date night scent, or party scent, going out to do whatever fun stuff you want to do. That's when this one is suited for. Now, in wintertime, you could pull it off during the day, but I really do think this one excels in the evening environment. And this one does have great performance. Like historically, you look across a whole bunch of feedback from a bunch of people, pretty much everyone kind of agrees that, yeah, this one does do very well. There's always going to be outliers, but generally you will be pretty safe with this one. This one's been a little bit weird, not going to lie. Discounter-wise, it's been a little bit tough to get. 50 mils come in stock sometimes. 100 mils are a little bit more few and far between. I don't know why. It used to be consistently in stock on discounters all the time. I'm hoping that's not a bad sign. I just don't know. And so because of that, because of the fact that now it's been a little bit tougher to get below retail, I have this one on my watch list. So anytime this one does come up for a price below retail, I do send out a notification to my emailing list, which you can sign up to by clicking the link down below. I also send out a text to my texting list, which you can sign up to by sending a text to the number down below. Anything rare, discontinued, or hard to find that you might be looking for, I'm on the hunt for as well, and I will notify you if you jump on those lists. Regardless, I think Wanted by Night is fantastic. It's by far one of the best flankers of the line, and it's worth picking up. Great performer. We got a brand new release up next, and this one I'm really excited about because it is very, very good. This one is Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male ELIXIR. So yes, they're jumping in on the ELIXIR trend with a little bit of tobacco. This one has kind of a hint of a Xerjoff Naxos style. And so again, I'm not saying that this is a clone of Naxos or that it's that similar, but it's in a similar ballpark. Think kind of a dusty, kind of sweet, powdery tobacco, honey, sweet scent. It's beautiful. And I think this one, just like Ultramale and just like Le Male Le Parfum, provides value and adds something new to the line. So there's no redundancy. This is another one that you can add that is really going to provide some unique wearing situations for you. You know, it does stand out amongst the line, and really it kind of does its own thing in terms of other designer releases as well, new or old. I think it is probably going to become one of the better, or dare I even say one of the best Le Male flankers. I don't know if they're going to be able to top this. Maybe they will, but it is that good, and it is definitely worth picking up. And another great factor about this one is the performance, namely the longevity is fantastic. This next one is pretty well known, great performer, comes in at a Parfum concentration also. Stronger With You Absolutely by Emporio Armani. This one basically takes that chestnut, vanilla, tonka bean DNA and adds in a splash of rum, which of course is going to give it a boozy character, but beyond that, it gives it a little bit more of a grown-up smell. Now keep in mind, it still very much is a sweet, playful smelling scent, and it follows that trend. but when you compare it to the original and Intensely and a couple of the others, this one does have a bit more of a mature aspect to it, which is why it's my personal favorite of the line. And again, for whatever reason here in the US and Canada, it's not readily available, meaning discounter-wise, it's not always consistently in stock. It does pop up relatively often though, usually for 100 mil, 125 or so, and sometimes a bit less depending on just the website and the deal, but it usually does sell quick. This is another one that's on my list, and when it does pop up, I do notify you. So if you want to get it, if you jump on the lists, you'll be able to get one pretty easily. They do come up often, but again, they just go fast. If you want a stronger with you and you only want to buy one, I would say this is the one to get. I really like it. This next one is a really cool, almost monumental scent for this brand in particular. The reason why is because it is their first ever flanker release, which is cool. It's really cool. And I don't think they could have chosen a better place to start. From MANCERA, it's Intense CEDRAT BOISE, which is an extrait concentration. Yeah, they started it off right. It's pretty safe to say that CEDRAT BOISE is the one that got that real big hype boost and, for lack of a better term, I guess, put them on the map. I think MANCERA was probably doing pretty well before the release of that one, but CEDRAT BOISE reached a very wide audience, a wider audience than something like Red Tobacco and Oud Lemon Mint would ever reach. And so because of that, it got a lot of eyes on the brand and really set them off on the right foot. And fun fact, the original CEDRAT BOISE was my very first ever niche purchase. It works out great because you can get that one for less than $100 on discounters, which is crazy when we're talking niche. And also to put it into perspective, the original CEDRAT BOISE is cheaper than a lot of other more premium designer fragrances as well. You have incredible value to price ratio. The Intense version is simply that. Takes that DNA, amps it up, makes it stronger, richer, and more interesting. And generally this is only right around $101, $102 on discounters. I've seen it as upwards of $120, which still is not anywhere near unreasonable because it retails for, I think, $200, maybe a little more. Definitely a fantastic release, has great performance. If you are someone who has struggled with the performance of the Eau de Parfum, this will solve that issue, and it is definitely worth getting. It's one of my favorites from the brand. And now, between the EDP and this, I'm taking this. It is that good of an upgrade. We'll go with a summer scent up next. CEDRAT BOISE, even the Intense, I think could be very, very good for summer evenings. But this one is going to work great for summer daytime, summer evenings, anytime when it's warm out. Has that personality about it. It's RASASI HAWAS. It's got plum, watery notes, ambroxan, apple, bergamot, all of that good stuff. And this is where the Invictus Aqua DNA originated. At least that's how it looks on paper. 2015 release here, and I think technically Invictus Aqua 2016 might have came out at the tail end of 2015. I could be wrong on that one. Obviously, going off the name, it's 2016 release, but when things happen this close together, you sometimes wonder if there were some things going on behind the scenes, whether it be intentional or not. Probably not intentional, but splitting hairs doesn't really matter. What does matter is that this is the last one standing. So Invictus Aqua 2016, 2018 are both discontinued. Now there are some other alternatives out there like Mont Blanc Legend Spirit, and there's a few others as well that kind of get you close to this DNA. But this one ultimately provides the closest experience to what Invictus Aqua 2016 used to be, also at one of the best prices, mid $40 range for this one. And at that price, the fact that you get this good a performance is really nothing short of impressive, especially for a summertime scent. It's one of my favorites for a reason. It charts really high in my summer designer lists for a reason. And it's technically not even a designer, it's a clone brand, but it's designer priced. And so I still feature it anyway because it's that good. I do have backup bottles of this one. I don't think it's going anywhere, but I do like to be safe. I am very paranoid about that stuff. But I love it. I love everything about it. I love wearing it in the summertime, and it is definitely one you should consider as well. Okay, next up we have Bond number 9, New Haarlem. I love this one, and every time I get a chance to feature it, I like to do so because of the simple fact that it's not the most versatile thing out there, unfortunately. I'm going to describe this one in this way, and it's going to sound weird and maybe off-putting, and I don't mean it that way, but it's legitimately how it smells. It smells like pancakes with syrup on them. it is about as realistic of a gourmand as I have ever experienced before. I mean, it's that close. It's that crazy. I mean, it's strong, it's syrupy, it's sweet, it's interesting. And also there's some coffee accords in here as well. So I think it's kind of generally looked at as a coffee scent, but it's so sweet. It does have that going on that it literally smells, I guess generalized, it smells like breakfast in the morning. Got your coffee, got your pancakes with a bunch of syrup on them. It's crazy. So because of that, it's very, very sweet. Not for everybody, not blind buy safe if you don't like overly sweet gourmand scents. And to kind of compound on that, even in wintertime when it's cold, there are going to be situations where maybe this wouldn't be the most fitting. You know, if you're trying to smell professional and you want to be taken seriously, might not be the best option. If you're trying to just be cozy and hang out at home or go out on a dinner date with someone that you know likes it already, it's a great choice, and it is a very strong scent. Okay, next up we have Tom Ford Tuscan Leather, another incredibly strong scent in both projection and longevity. And no surprise, it's all about the leather. Now, this one is going to be more of an animalic and strong leather accord compared to something like ombre leather from the same brand, which is a little bit more ozonic. It uses the violet leaf. It's a little bit more fresh, and it's much easier to pull off. With that does come a cost, and that is lesser performance. Now, to be completely transparent, ombre leather, at least on my skin, is still a great performer. I mean, it does fine. It's expensive. Maybe some would want more for the price. Totally fair. But this one is a beast mode scent to the point where you just don't need anything stronger than this, because it's likely that you're just going to be showering it off. You know, you spray it on and it lasts all the way into the next day, and you take a shower, and you know, why does it need to last longer than that? But regardless, if you want one of the most realistic and most coveted leather scents on the market, this is one you should check out. Next up we have PHILIPP PLEIN No Limits. This is all about the leather as well, but hold on a second. And a lot of chocolate. And there's some other gourmand notes in here as well. So this is going to be a leather scent that is quite the opposite of Tuscan leather. Instead of being kind of animalic and rough and textured and kind of harsh in that regard, not in terms of quality, but just it has some real kind of grit to it. This one's smoother, it's creamier, and it's just a different style altogether. And with that does come more versatility. It's going to be more mass pleasing generally. The dark chocolate note in here smells amazing. I really like this one, and it does provide something new and something unique, especially for the price. It's very reasonable, $50, I think $60 on discounters. The bottle size is, if I can find it, 90 ml, so a little oddball size, but still price per mil works out to be very fair. Great performer out of this one, and again, it's something unique. And we'll end this video with Sauvage ELIXIR by DIOR. This is going to be, of course, their newest Sauvage release, and who knows, probably not their last one, I guess, because I don't think any of us were expecting this. At least I wasn't, but I'm happy we got it. It's all about the warm spices and the woods. Sandalwood, cinnamon, licorice, nutmeg, and then I'm missing some. I do it every single time. There's many more. But it is very mature, very masculine, very refined. This is going to be the furthest thing from Sauvage that you can possibly get while still having Sauvage in the name. I guess aside from DIOR Eau Sauvage, but I'm not counting any of those. When we're talking the blue bottle, magnetic cap, DIOR Sauvage looking bottles, this is the furthest thing from that peppery, spicy ambroxan DNA. And so this is going to be one that smells very upscale, very classy. And for some, it's going to smell a little bit old manish, so be careful with that. I'm 23 years old. I have no problem wearing this one. I enjoy to wear it. Just depends on what you're into. Regardless of that, it's also expensive. Discounters, $140, $150 for this size bottle. 100 mils or a little bit over 200 still at discounters. Retail is more expensive than both of those prices there. But the performance is off the charts to the point where if I do too many sprays, it becomes simply too much and I have to consider scrubbing it off. So I do not hit myself with a ton of sprays when I wear this one, that's for sure. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 fragrances that are guaranteed to get you that 12-hour mark and beyond. Great performers, you can play it safe with these and get great results. Skin chemistry does come into play, of course. If you're someone who generally just doesn't get good performance out of things, then maybe that's something that just isn't going to be realistic for you. But if you have healthy skin, you're hygienic, your skin is hydrated, etc., you shouldn't have an issue. Links will be down below, and again, for any of these that might be hard to find, out of stock, whatever, get on the mailing list at the first link and send a text to the number down below, and you will be signed up and get notifications straight to your phone, straight to your home screen whenever something good comes into stock, and I promise you, you don't want to miss out. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.